Unless you've been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you've probably seen the absolute insanity surrounding Marlow, the #1 Minecraft PvP player in the world. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started looking into this, I thought it was just another drama situation where people were being toxic.
Does anyone want to trade? Yo, what's up? Yo. Yo. Does anyone want to trade? Yo, what's up? Yo. Yo. Does anyone want to trade? Yo. 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 Anyone want to trade? Yo. 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 Anyone want to trade? Yo, 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 yo. Yo. Anyone want to trade? Yo, yo.
For no reason. But dude, after going down this rabbit hole for literal hours and compiling everything that's been going on, this is way worse than I ever could have imagined. Like this isn't just some random accusation. This is a full-blown systematic issue that goes way deeper than anyone's talking about. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a like on this video, because trust me, you're going to want to see where this goes. And just buckle up, because this is going to be absolutely crazy. So for those of you who don't know who Marlow is, let me give you a quick rundown. Marlow is literally the #1 ranked Minecraft 1.9 PvP player on the entire planet. She's the first person to ever achieve tier 1 in every single game mode. Like, every single one. Crystal PvP, Mace, Sword, SMP, Diamond Pot, you name it, she's tier 1 in it. And not just tier 1, but she's miles ahead of everyone else. Like, nobody's even close to her skill level, at least according to the tier list. She averages hundreds of thousands of views per video, and she's been playing at a high level for over 5 years now. So yeah, she's kind of a big deal in the Minecraft PvP community. But here's where things get interesting. Marlo doesn't just play the game, she also owns the MC Tiers tier list, which is the most popular ranking system for 1.9 PvP players. And on top of that, she owns MC PvP Club, which is literally described as the largest PvP network in the world. So just to be clear, Marlo owns the tier list, owns the server where tier tests happen, and also happens to be ranked #1 on said tier list. Yeah, I'll let that sink in for a second. It's like if the referee decided to play in the game and then gave themselves the trophy. Like, hello? Does anyone else see a problem here? But wait, it gets even crazier, because recently, countless videos have been popping up with clips suggesting that Marlo might be cheating. And I'm not talking about like 1 or 2 sketchy clips. I'm talking about dozens of clips, statistical analysis, frame-by-frame breakdowns, and even behavior that straight up looks like she's trying to avoid getting caught. So, in this video, we're going to be breaking down all the evidence, and trust me, by the end of this, you're going to have some serious questions about what's really going on. First off, let's talk about the macro allegations, because this is where things start to get really suspicious. So an anonymous creator went through Marlo's videos and did frame-by-frame analysis of her mechanics. And dude, the numbers are insane. In her mace PvP montage, she does this move called a stun slam, which is like a really hard technique where you have to switch from sword to axe to mace to sword in like perfect timing. She does this 5 times in the montage. And guess how many frames each one took? 7. All 5 of them. Exactly 7 frames. No variation, no mistakes, just 7 frames every single time. Now for context, doing a stun slam perfectly is already super hard. Like, even top players mess it up sometimes. But doing it 5 times in a row with the exact same timing, that's not just good. That's like mathematically suspicious. But it doesn't stop there. She also does this thing called an attribute swap, where you switch from sword to mace and back to sword really fast. In the same video, she does this 76 times. And out of those 76 times, 74 of them took exactly 3 frames. That's 1/60th of a second. Doing that input perfectly 76 times is, according to multiple analysts, not humanly possible. Like, even if you're the best player in the world, you're gonna have some variation. You're gonna mess up occasionally. But Marlo? Nope. Perfect every single time. And then there's the respawn anchor stuff in Crystal PvP. Over 102 instances analyzed, and she's hitting the same timing 99% of the time. Only 1 deviation out of over 100 attempts. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like something a macro would do, not a human. But hey, let me know what you think in the comments, because honestly, the numbers speak for themselves. Now let's get into the aim stuff, because this is where I personally got really suspicious. Multiple analysts, including a pretty well-known player named Mario Kart, believe that Marlo is using horizontal aimbot. And before you say, oh, that sounds crazy, just hear me out. The reason they think it's horizontal only is because in Mace PvP, you need to be able to control your vertical aim for things like flying with an elytra, throwing pearls, and using wind charges. If you had full aimbot, it would mess with all of that. But if you only had horizontal aimbot, you'd still have full control over your up and down movement while getting perfect left and right tracking on enemies. And dude, when you watch Marlo's tier 1 Mace PvP montage with this in mind, it's so blatant. Like, Mario Kart literally said, I have never seen more aimbot in my life. After she hits someone with a mace, she does these weird flicks to the left or right before tracking them forward. And there's no reason to aim in those directions when, you know, the enemy is going to fly forward from the mace hit. But if you look closely, she's always aiming at the exact angle between her head and the opponent's head. It's like her aim is magnetically pulled to them. And honestly, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's one of those things where you either notice it or you don't. But if you do, it's pretty damning. But okay, maybe you're thinking, well, these are just clips. Clips can be misleading. And you're right, so let's talk about the statistical stuff, because this is where things get really interesting. In a 40-minute tier test between Marlo and a player named Legendary, someone actually went through and counted every single shield stun. For those of you who don't know, a shield stun is when you disable someone's shield with an axe, and it's a pretty hard mechanic to pull off consistently. Legendary, who's a tier 1 player, landed 168 successful shield breaks and missed 37 times. That's an 82% success rate, which is what you'd expect from a really good player. Marlow, on the other hand, landed 199 successful shield breaks and missed twice. Out of 199 attempts over 40 minutes. That's a 99% success rate, and one of those misses she actually got on the same hit. So it's closer to like 1.5 misses. I don't care how good you are, that is not normal. Even the best players in the world are not hitting 99% success rates on difficult mechanics over a 40-minute period. That's just not realistic. Now, here's where things get really, really disgusting. And this is the part that nobody's talking about, which is honestly crazy to me because this is probably the most damning piece of evidence in this entire situation. So back in May of 2025, a player named Vex, who was a previous high-tier one-sword player, challenged Marlow to a duel. The stakes were simple. If Marlow won, she'd get $350. If she lost, she wouldn't lose anything. And here's the thing. Marlow had already beaten Vex 20-4 on MC PvP before, so this should have been easy money for her, right? But there was one catch. The fight had to happen on Mindman Club, not on Marlow's server. Now, if you don't know what Mindman Club is, it's known by pretty much every top player as having the best anti-cheat among all the 1.9 servers. Like, it's been used to catch numerous high-profile cheaters, and it's specifically designed to detect closet cheats. Multiple admins and top players have confirmed that it's the most reliable anti-cheat out there. So if you're a legit player, this shouldn't be a problem at all, especially if you've already beaten your opponent before. So what did Marlow do? Did she just hop on and take the easy $350? Nope. She stalled for 6 hours. Let me repeat that. 6 hours. It started at 11 PM for Vex, and Marlow said she was available to fight right now, but then she said she needed to change her mod pack, and that took 3 hours. 3 hours just to change mods. And as someone who knows a thing or two about mod packs, that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Then, after she finally got on Mindman Club, it took her another hour just to accept the duel. She kept stalling and stalling until it was literally daylight outside for Vex, who had to leave to catch a flight. So the fight never happened, and then Marlow got banned from the tier 2 plus sword Discord where all this went down, and it was pretty much just known in that community that she was probably cheating. Now ask yourself this: if you're legitimately the #1 player in the world and you've already beaten someone 20-4, why would you stall for 6 hours and avoid playing on a server with good anti-cheat for only $350? Like, that's not even that much money. It doesn't make any sense unless you're trying to avoid getting caught. And that's the thing that really gets me about this whole situation. It's not just the clips, it's not just the statistics, it's the behavior, it's the avoidance, it's the fact that she only plays on her own server and never goes to tournaments elsewhere. It's the fact that she owns the tier list that ranks her #1. It's all of it combined. And then there's the whole Rapture situation, which honestly might be the wildest part of this entire thing. So Rapture is this new player who just appeared out of nowhere like 2 months ago and immediately became high tier 1 in Mace. And people started noticing that Rapture and Marlow have a lot of similarities. They both have AI sounding voices. They both have the same writing style in their video descriptions. They both link MC tiers in their descriptions. And Rapture somehow had enough money to pay Marlow over $2,500 in a collaboration video, which for a brand new YouTuber with a tiny channel makes absolutely no sense. Like, this isn't Mr. Beast, bro. Where is this random new creator getting thousands of dollars to throw around? A lot of people in the community think that Rapture might actually be Marlow's alt account, which would explain why she needed to use an AI voice, and why Rapture conveniently took the #1 Mace spot right after Marlow nerfed another player's playstyle. And if Rapture ever gets banned, guess who becomes #1? Not the other guy, but Marlow. It's all just too convenient. But here's what really disgusts me about this whole situation. It's not even just the potential cheating, it's the way the community has been manipulated into defending her no matter what. There's this rule on the tier list called the malicious gossip rule, which is supposed to prevent people from spreading false rumors about cheating. But the way it's being used, it basically just protects Marlo from any criticism. Top players are afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose their hard-earned ranks on her tier list. And there's this narrative that's been pushed where if you accuse Marlo of anything, you're just mad that a girl's better than you, or you're coping because you're bad at the game. And dude, that's so toxic. Like, we should be able to have honest conversations about competitive integrity without people getting shut down immediately. There are literally top players who have been caught on stream hackasating Marlo in private, and then publicly they're defending her. There's a player named Swite who's top 3 in the world, and there's an unlisted live stream where he's constantly saying Marlo's cheating, complaining about her hits doing double damage, saying it's impossible, and then suddenly he's commenting on videos defending her. Like, what happened there? The truth is, a lot of people think if they speak out, they're going to face consequences, because Marlo controls the entire system. She owns the tier list, she owns the server, and she controls who gets ranked where. That's not a competitive environment. That's a dictatorship. And honestly, the PvP community deserves better than this. So what's my final verdict on all this? Look, I can't say with 100% certainty that Marlo is cheating. I'm not a professional analyst, and I don't have access to her computer or anything like that. But what I can say is that there are way too many red flags here to just ignore. The statistical anomalies, the suspicious clips, the avoidance behavior, the conflict of interest, the community manipulation, it's all too much. And the fact that she refused to fight on a server with legitimate anti-cheat when she had already proven she could beat her opponent, yeah, that's the closest thing to a smoking we're going to get. At the end of the day, the Minecraft PvP community deserves to be able to trust the systems in place and trust that the #1 player is actually legitimate. And right now, I don't think we can say that with confidence. So if you learned anything from this video, or if you think I missed something, let me know in the comments. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because we're going to be covering more of this situation as it develops. But yeah, this whole thing is just disgusting, and somebody needs to say it. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Destruction of Minecraft's #1 player, Mara.
This season, you've got places to go, people to see, and things to do. You may have already gotten vaccinated for flu and COVID-19, but other respiratory illnesses are still out there. If you're 50 or older, even if you're healthy, it may be important to help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia. And if you have certain health conditions, it may be important to help protect against RSV too. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about which vaccines you need. Help protect yourself with only 1 dose each.
Are you okay?
I'm trying to use this software to streamline my team's workflow, but I can't get any support.
You should use Kintone.
What? A ninja?
The destruction of Minecraft's #1 player, Marlo. Lock in, bro. Lock in.
This is Marlo, also known as the #1 Minecraft PvPer. Marlo's achieved tier 1 in every single...
For the last 2 weeks, we've looked at Acts chapter 4 and considered what the New Testament church did when they were threatened by those who opposed them. They were told, if you keep preaching...
Today we're doing a...
Just like everybody says, time flies by fast, and the truth is, I wasted most of my teens. So
So these are 6 things that I've come to realize. I figured that I could take a few minutes to show you the
Welcome to.
like
you've not already.
This right here is the rarest death in all of hardcore Minecraft. Look, even the
Go on. Don't be afraid. I know you wonder.
This right here is the rarest death in all of hardcore Minecraft. Look, even the game didn't even know what to put as the death. And I found all of the other weirdest and most unlucky deaths that ever happened. Like, what do you do if you get this extremely rare curse, like the player Taste Bacon? He's just playing one day and everything is normal until he randomly starts taking half a heart of HP every single second for no reason. Now he runs inside and closes the door. There's sometimes invisible mobs, so if that's the case, he just escaped it. He runs out in panic again. All he can think to do is pull out his golden apple and eat it. He then pulls out his sword, swinging around, trying to take out anything near him. But it doesn't work. He panics some more and kills this chicken and some llamas. But it doesn't even matter because his food bar is completely full. He eats his last golden apple and just kind of freezes. Just imagine this. You can do absolutely nothing as you watch your hardcore world slip away. But he thinks of one last idea. He completely traps himself in some blocks and even digs downwards to escape. But unlike some of the others on this list, nothing he could do could stop this. But now imagine you're collecting every single block in the game. This is what the player eHider20 was trying to pull off. But through a very weird mechanic in the game, he would somehow set off a TNT block. Rarest Tiger was a very experienced Minecraft player who was working on his Enderman farm when one snuck up behind him at the worst possible time, sending him in the worst possible direction. These last two were completely avoidable, but I saved some of the most unlucky ones for the end, and the last one is seriously the most insane thing ever. Now everyone knows the Warden is the strongest mob in Minecraft, and unfortunately for Cybladium, he was about to run into a one-of-a-kind glitch with the Warden. To make matters even worse, this world is over 2 years old. But imagine losing your hardcore world of over 2,800 days old, like the streamer Sartin Max. He was using his Elytra and Trident and was actually trying to break the speed world record. But unfortunately, if he was able to go back in time and read some of the responses about this, people are warning about flying too fast and this low. And as you can see by his Y coordinate, he's slowly descending in altitude, making this even riskier. Because what looks like nothing can instantly transform into a bunch of blocks randomly generating out of nowhere. And that is exactly what happened to him.
Oh,
Fantastico.
Now, people are also trying to figure out why the totem didn't save him. And if you have the answer, let us know. But someone actually died even more instantly than this. Fred was just playing like any other day, going through his stacked inventory with a totem, enchanted gear, and then seemingly out of nowhere. Now, I don't think anyone knows what happened here, but we do know what happened to Waffle 4290 as he was working on his 1,000+ day hardcore world. Everything was normal, he was working on an ocean project when he used his trident to fly out, but accidentally removed his Elytra. But now I want you to imagine you're working on an iron golem farm. These guys are harmless, they protect villages, they're amazing. Everything's fine, but you notice the iron golem is stuck and not falling down the trap. So Smith goes over to nudge the iron golem in, and he's completely full HP with gear on. So everything should be a-okay. Nah. There's speculation on how he died, but no one really knows. And surprisingly, this isn't even the craziest Iron Golem death on this list. A player by the name Punky Peanut was using his villager trading area when he somehow right-clicked an Iron Golem, causing it to lash out and insta-kill him. You don't even see the Iron Golem anywhere. And a player by the name Bowser got so unlucky while messing with his Enderman farm. He was just placing some grass blocks above it, hoping to get a better view, which he did. But as many of you know, Endermen are actually able to grab blocks. And you can see one of them grab this grass block. But unfortunately, he doesn't realize this, and when more Endermen grab these grass blocks, he instantly falls all the way down. And speaking of falling, the player Setlock got some of the worst timing I've ever seen. He was completely alone in this cave, teetering on the ledge, when he turns around for literally 1 second.
If that's fair.
oh!
And again, speaking of falling, something very, very rare happens to Pippin Zero. He hit the nether portal and walked into the nether. Now he goes to farm a little bit when out of nowhere, so lava actually spawns as just a source block. So when he entered the nether, it was impossible to see. And unluckily for him, it started to slowly fall down, perfectly hitting him as he's in this little hole. And he'd hoped to hit this nether portal to save himself. But imagine you're just messing with a villager and trying to nudge him out of the way when you straight up teleport outside of your building blocks and into lava. All bro could do was rage quit and never play this world again. And the player Superboy 18 was fighting this skeleton with full gear. And you would think maybe this skeleton one-shot him or something, but he was full HP, and it even said he fell out of the world. Now, if you're walking in this snow biome, you are obviously surrounded by a bunch of snow. The last thing you would expect would be to burn to death, but that is exactly what happened to Myasov when he slightly misplaced this lava by pixels. But thankfully, his friend was right next to him with a bucket of water.
Bruh.
But at least this is not as bad as what happened to Kistumi. He was in the nether farming some blaze rods when a ghast shoots a fire charge at him. So he had all the time in the world to react or move out of the way, just do anything, but he completely fumbles it. Not only that, he falls down into a pit of lava. And a player named Slice of Fry was just mining some coal on the literal surface. You would think you are completely safe here, but suddenly he falls to his doom. But that brings us to our most rare hardcore deaths of all time. 6 of these are actually a part of the longest hardcore worlds that ever ended, but I'll quickly summarize. The YouTuber Sandiction had an almost 1,000-day hardcore world when he glitched while flying, causing him to die seconds before he even impacted the wall.
Oh my god.
And the streamer Philza was on his generational hardcore run, reaching nearly 6,500 days when he ended up going down fighting against a baby zombie, a skeleton, and a spider. You don't really die to these too often, especially one of the hardest maps of all time.
No! Really? That's how I die? Oh my god!
And a YouTuber by the name Inky had a 5,000 day hardcore world, and while he was flying over the ocean, he started experiencing real-life diabetes symptoms and accidentally ended his run by drowning in the ocean.
And by the time I got back to my computer, it was already too late.
Paul GG was over 2,500 days and working on a massive new project. All he had to do was remove this sign and all of this sand would drop and completely drain this ocean monument. But sadly for him, it drained his PC's will to live.
Oh no no no. It's like dude, it's crashing. Oh no. Uh-oh.
And we have the YouTuber Cringy Goal, who was over 4,000 days in his hardcore world. When his world literally just got so laggy and corrupted, he just simply phased through the blocks and into the void. So there was nothing he could do about it. And Jahita was in their 1 year hardcore world when they randomly got smothered by their own cows. I don't know if you could die in a more tilting way.
Oh my god.
But now we have the player Delkick, who ran into the rarest death in all of Minecraft. This has never happened before, and honestly, no one knows if it will ever happen again. He was in a multiplayer hardcore world when a player that was in the Nether built a portal back to the world, but it just so happened that the